what I do.
Captured this video. Big Mama is dead. Big Mama died in the 90s and the early 2000s. She was the last of the black women that had influence. Many of us brothers were raised by our grandmothers and who had great influence over us, but our mothers really don't have that type of influence over us. Neither do our girlfriends. And for those of us who have wives, you know, maybe those women have influence over us, and you have to act as a family structure and do what's in the best interest of the family. But for the most part, there's no, the matriarchy, in my opinion, is toothless. In other words, they're a paper tiger. What I'm saying is there's absolutely nothing that black women can do to black men physically or even emotionally to influence us to do their bidding other than shame and guilt. Now, there is a group of men in the black community who are still beholden to black women, and we largely call them simps, but all that's going to happen is once there are enough black men who are willing to call those brothers on their simpness, their simpletonness, or simphood, they'll be checked too. And so in its place, you're going to have the rise of black men who are independent thinkers who decide that they're going to do what's in their own best interest. Now, I say this in the context of this upcoming election that should be held tomorrow, and I know that people are voting right now. But I'm very disappointed at people like Joy Reid of MSNBC, who are now attempting to, you know, talk bad about black men because, as the polls indicate, there's a large or significant group of black men who are planning to vote for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump and his campaign, along with Joe Biden and his campaign, are now signaling that black men are going to be the deciding vote. Now, remind you, for the last year and a half, it's been black women are going to hear or need to save the Democratic Party. Is they courted black women. They made all sorts of promises to black women. They even nominated Kamala Harris as a Democratic vice presidential candidate, with the understanding that Joe Biden is an old man. And he may very well not last his first term. He may retire in his first term, which will leave Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. And I know that there are a lot of black women who would look forward to that. And I have no problem with a woman or a black woman being president of the United States. I just particularly don't like Kamala Harris and her history as a prosecutor in San Francisco who put black women in jail for having children that were truant to school. And I say that because there's so much other crime she could have targeted, but she specifically chose to enact some laws or enforce laws that targeted black women and children. And that I find is despicable, and it's a bully tactic. But back to my main point. My main point is that the Democratic Party, their weak link is black men, meaning that black men are dissatisfied with the Democratic Party, and we have been for a while. In fact, if you look at the exit polls in 2016, it shows that 13% of black men voted for Donald Trump, and that was those who were willing to admit it. And so now you have a situation where there's probably up to 20% of black men who are going to vote for Donald Trump, according to the polls. And in my opinion, probably about 25 to 30% of black men who are actually going to vote for Donald Trump. But the 10% that's over and above the polls are just not willing to say so, because it's still uncouth to say so. Now, I don't support Donald Trump, nor do I support Joe Biden. And I don't support either one of them for the same reason, because I both think they're white supremacist racist, and they don't have the interests of black men at hand. But here's the thing. I can tell you this. November 4th. Nothing's going to change for us. It's still going to be the same. We're still going to have police pulling up behind us with their sirens. We're still going to have our children being taken from us in family courts by our women. We're still going to be disenfranchised. We're still going to be talked bad about in the media. We're still going to be labeled thugs, sexual deviants, promiscuous. We're still going to be the pariahs of the American societal groups. We're still going to be that. So my question to people like Joy Reid, who talk bad about black men for choosing to vote for whatever party, Donald Trump or whoever. My question to you is, what more can you do to us that hasn't already been done? What are you sisters going to do? You don't even have the weight the grip Big Mama had. Matter of fact, a lot of these brothers don't even see eye to eye with you on many of these political issues. Matter of fact, we despise some of the positions that you all take. And even though our brothers love their daughters, they love their mothers, they love their sisters and their aunties and their grandmothers, we love you sisters. But you guys have basically totally abandoned us when it comes to the politics of this country. You went for self. That's why you're the most educated group of women in America. You left us behind, sister. You took our children from us in family court, and some of you are proud of it. Matter of fact, many of you talk about getting the bag. What does that mean? You getting the bag from white men, Hispanic men, Asian men? No. What you're doing is you're getting the bag from brothers. You're taking them and you're getting them to buy you stuff and using them, and you're having sex with this man and that man and that man. You're not willing to get married. Many of you have what? Children out of wedlock? And I know you was going to say, well, what about the black men that have children out of wedlock? I got you. 51% of black men don't even have children. What does that tell you? That means there's only 49% of black men who possibly could have given you those children that you have. Now, I have a greater point. I'm not picking on you, sisters. I want to talk about something. Another 27% of black men, 31% of black men are married and live with their wives. So that means you only have about 18% of black men who have children outside of wedlock here in the United States. 82% of black men are married or don't have children, whereas 80% of black women have children outside of wedlock. Now, I'm not picking on you, sister, but what I want to do is I want you to use that as a litmus test for your value system. What does that tell you about black men? It tells you they're probably pretty conservative. It tells you that the black men and any of us who know brothers and who speak to brothers, we're pretty conservative when it comes to social issues, generally speaking. Brothers, for the most part, do not support LGBTQ policies and whatnot. We don't. That's just our position. And I know that makes us toxic and masculine and bigoted and all that. I get it. But that's just how brothers position themselves. As I said, 51% of black men aren't married and don't have children. And another 31% of black men are married with children. And that's a higher percentage of that's a higher marriage rate than black women. So it lets you know that many of these black men are conservative, and they're also physically conservative, fiscally. And that means financially. There are more black men in college than there are in prison. And I would love for there to be less black men in prison, but there are still a significant amount. But the fact that there are more black men in college and prison lets you know that we support education. Per capita, black men make up outstrip their percentage in the general population in the military. So that means we're for military service. It lets me know, and it lets anybody who's looking, who's paying attention, know that black men are, for the most part, have some socially conservative ideas. The reason they don't like the Republican Party is because it's full of bigots and racists. And traditionally, at least over the past 50 years or so, they've been racist, and that's why we've been running away from them. But now when you present us with a Joe Biden who is clearly racist, and you present us with a Republican Party who's also racist, then those two factors cancel out each other. And brothers just have to figure out which one of these jerks am I going to vote for. Both of them are racist. That's what's happened. And so for people like Joy Reid to try to scare black men, you can't scare us. There's nothing that you can do to black men that hadn't already been done to us. And I'm talking about my black American brothers and sisters who have ancestors who are descended from the American slave system. And I know that we've traveled all around, and there's been a mixing, and people from the Caribbean have come to the United States, or what was the United States or the territory at the time in South America. I get that. But for the most part, what I'm talking about is those of us who sat around and listened to our stories of our grandmothers and our grandfathers and our uncles and all these people who told us the stories about how they were treated and how they were actually mistreated in this country. We know what you've done to us, the Tuskegee experiment, the locking us up, the Jim Crow, the convict lease program, how we were segregated in the military and relegated to doing janitorial work and made to feel less than men. And now we have, you know, the dropping cocaine and drugs in our neighborhood in the 70s and 80s and depriving us of jobs and now the mass incarceration system. We know what has happened to us. You've taken our children from us with the family court system. You've overtaxed us. You've denied us the ability to live in neighborhoods that are safe. You've underfunded our schools. You've made us feel less than men for so long, and you've taken our freedom and our lives.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D.
People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You were tuned in to Uncle D. This black man talk, pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something and you earn something. And let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Attorney Spurling, this ain't pearly, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shooting, give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Molly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you been served, gotta notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass.
Get up and whip him, sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Flowbee and cut your own damn hair from now on.